9000 auxiliary power harness. In this video, we'll follow the auxiliary power harness along the cart and showing where it branches off and where certain components get their power from. Starting off with the front hitch. Right at the front hitch you'll have your 7-pin plug. With your 7-pin plug, all we're pulling off of it is turn signals, hazard lights, and your key power, which your key power is now exciting a relay. Once that relay is excited, now we're drawing all our main power on the auxiliary power harness that runs across your drill to your tractor battery. So now, going back, you'll also notice that we have single connectors that are labeled. What this allows us to do is put our 9000 cart on an older drill that doesn't already have an auxiliary harness on it. So when it comes to you, it'll be connected to draw all of our power down the auxiliary harness. If put on an older machine, we'll have to disconnect this connector.
Grab the one that says if no auxiliary harness installed.
Once that's connected, now what we're doing is we're drawing all of our power down our 7-pin plug like we've done in the past years. So running down the front hitch of the cart, all the way up past the front axle and just up underneath the front axle, you'll find your first breakout. In that first breakout, you'll find 2-pin power and ground, which will be labeled beacon, which we don't use in North America. It is used in Australia. And then also you'll have your work light switch. So just a toggle on and off for all your work lights on the tank. Moving down the left side of the cart, you'll also have a branch out for your Tank 5 camera power, which will be for the lights in your saddle tank. Still going down the left side of the cart, in between tank 1 and 2, you'll be your main branch that runs underneath your cart over to the right hand side, where the first branch off of it will be this 4-pin, 2 powers and 2 grounds, which will be the ones that go up your conveyor or for your work lights, and then the long extensions to get across the arm and up along your conveyor. Alright, moving down the harness further to the right hand side of the tank, we'll come to our next branch off here. The first one here, the big one, will be your work light switch, so the secondary one, the one on the right hand side. And then also you'll have this guy here, just a 2-pin power and ground that goes to the light shining back at your calibration area. Then from there you'll have your power and ground, your main power to your solenoid harness and receiver. So from that connection there, you'll have fuse protection, 20 amp. And then right next to it on the outer wall will be your conveyor run switch. So when you turn on your conveyor run switch, you should then link the power from it to your receiver. So coming down the harness into this branch here, you'll have a 2-pin power and ground going into the receiver, and then when it's on, you'll notice that you'll have flashing lights. If I turn it off, now I don't have power to my receiver. So if I turn on my power, I get my flashing lights. And then also with the receiver and all 9000 series carts is you'll get 2 Cartec remotes. The receiver only allows it to handle 1 remote at a time. So if you turn it on, and it says no link, you're going to have to link it to that receiver. To do that procedure, turn off the power to your remote and also turn off the power to your receiver, and then push and hold the power button on the remote. Keep holding it until it says teach mode, turn power on. Once it says that, then we can go back to our conveyor run switch, turn the power on, and it should say teach mode complete, and then it'll also show you what function you're in. Once you're learned, you'll have a green flashing light. Don't get so worried about the red flashing lights. A lot of times it'll be flashing red lights in a sequence of stuff that you don't have on your cart. So the most common one is number 14, which is a hopper fault, which is the one that is for the old auger and the hopper control. Then from your receiver, we have two connections here. This is our signal wires, power and ground, going out to our main solenoid harness. And our main solenoid harness will be on our main valve block to activate whatever you want to do with your remote. And you'll notice that they all are labeled depending on what you're doing. And then the one lead on the end of the harness that'll be useful for testing is one called test lead. So you have a power and a ground and a 2-pin Deutsch, the same as the other connectors going into the solenoids. And then you'll also have a power and ground and a blade style plug to allow you to grab power and ground if you need it for something from there. So coming back to this branch, there's one more plug that you may or may not have in use, this 4-pin Deutsch. This is for the customers that have the bulk boom. If not, it'll just be capped. So here we'll have power and ground, and then we'll have two signal wires from the receiver that we'll move over to next. So from here, this harness runs down the right-hand side of the cart, and just in front of the first tank, it'll jump and cross over to the left-hand side. Tied up in front of tank number 1, you'll find a secondary receiver. From that harness, you'll get your power and ground to that receiver. And then also off of that receiver, you'll have your signal wires that branches out to the hydraulic solenoid to activate your arms for your bulk boom. With that receiver, you'll also have a secondary CarTech remote. And the reason why we get our power from the far side of the cart is because we have signal wires that run back to that first receiver to allow us to put it into fill cal and turn our fans off, so we have the ability to fill on one side and then also have the ability to use our bulk boom at the same time. Moving backwards on the left hand side of the cart, just behind our main branch that goes to the right hand side, moving back along the side of the tank, we'll get to the point just behind tank number 4, and across that cross member you'll find a harness that tees off, goes to the right hand side, and then will be coiled up if you do not have a rear towage, or if you do, you'll find your 7-pin plug for anything that you're towing. Going back to the left hand side and moving right to the back of the cart, you'll have a power and ground connection that'll run up your catwalk and ladders to the top of the tank for your 3 work lights on the top. And then right at the back of your catwalk assembly, you'll find again that 2-pin weather pack connector, which will be labeled beacon, which we don't use in North America. And then right beside it, you'll have another power and ground for your last work light. on the rear of the tank. And then from there, mounted on the back side of the catwalk, you'll have 2 brake lights or running lights. And then on the outer tips, over top of your duals, you'll have your 2 hazard lights or turn signals.